Hey everyone, welcome back to the JavaScript course. So in this video, we'll be looking into the promise chaining inside of JavaScript. And if you find this interesting, let's get started right away. So in this video, we'll be exploring further about the promises topic inside of JavaScript. So inside my VS Code, I have opened up my index.html file, my style.css file as well as my script.js file. So there is some basic boilerplate code present inside my index file as you can see. And there is some basic styling given to the style.css file over here. And inside my script file, there is some basic console.log text. Okay. So now we'll continue exploring about the promises inside of JavaScript. So just to recap a bit, inside a previous video, we went and explored about the promises. That is, the promise is going to have different kinds of states. That is the reject state, the fulfilled state, the pending state, and the resolved state. Okay, so these are different kinds of states the promise is going to have, and we explored about the two different kinds of programming, that is basically the synchronous programming as well as the asynchronous programming. So this was done with the help of an example. So now we'll further explore about the promises. Okay, so firstly let me create some functions. Okay, we're going to say function sum. It's going to take in two parameters. Okay, we're going to return new promise over here. So new promise, it's going to take in of course the resolve and reject methods like this. Okay, so basically over here we are going to say resolve, and we're going to make use of backticks, and we're going to access the sum value. So the sum is okay, so over here we are going to say x plus y. Okay, my bad, this should come over here itself. Okay, so save the file. So this is one function that we are going to use it now. So after this we have another function. So we're going to say function multiply of again x and y. So we are going to return again a new promise inside this function. We are going to say new promise. Okay, so resolve and reject. Okay, so this basically is going to say resolve. Okay, so the value, so we're going to say the multiplied value is x star y. Okay, we're going to write two more functions like this, that is function divide of x comma y. Okay, here also we're going to return a new promise as such like this. So we're going to say new promise, and we're going to press on resolve and then reject. Okay, so here we're going to resolve again, and we're going to write the value that is found out. Okay, so we're going to say that the divided value is going to be, let's write that correctly. Okay, so it's going to be x divided by y. Okay, so that's it about the what did I do? Yeah, so that's it about the third function. We'll be writing the final function that is about the subtract method. So we're going to say function subtract. It's going to take in two parameters, x comma y. Okay, and we'll be making use of again return new promise like this. Okay, and we'll be writing resolve and then reject. Let's write that correctly. And after that we have is we're going to resolve this promise by writing the final value after performing the subtraction. Okay, so it's going to be the subtracted value is, yeah, so it's instead of x divided by y, it's going to be x minus y. Okay, so why have I written all this function? So with this functions we'll be executing basically the function calls with the help of the promise methods. Okay, so we can do with the callbacks also. So that's gonna result in so that's not gonna so that's actually gonna result in a code structure that is not good. So, okay, so that's basically called as the callback help part. Okay, so over here we'll be making use of the promises to execute this. Okay, so firstly let's call all the functions. So we're gonna say first is sum. So the sum is gonna take in two arguments, that is to calculate the sum value. So we're gonna provide 10 and 20 for this. Okay, so after this has been executed, we have something called as the then method that is present. So we're gonna say dot then of result, whatever the result is. We're gonna say console.log of result. Okay, so after this has been calculated, we move on to the next function that is present, that is the multiply. So we're gonna say return multiply. We're gonna say multiply, and over here multiply is again going to take in two arguments. So let's say 10 comma 20. So after this has been executed, we are gonna make use of the then method, and then we're gonna just show the results out. That is basically console.log of result. Okay, so let's write that out correctly. So console.log of result. Come on. Okay, so after this we have as the third function, that is the return function. So we're gonna say return divide. Okay, so divide is again going to take in two parameters. We're gonna pass in 20 comma 10. Okay, so after this function has been executed, that means that is after the asynchronous operation has been executed completely. We're gonna say dot then. We're gonna make use of the dot then method, and then we're gonna say the result. We're going to access the result from the then method, that is after it has been resolved, it should give us this result. Okay, so we're going to say console.log of result. Okay, so after this again we're going to return this function, that is basically the final one, that is the subtract function. So we're going to say return subtract. Okay, we're going to pass in 20 comma 10 again as in the previous one. So we're gonna make use of the then method after this subtract has been executed completely. So we're gonna say dot then of result. Okay, so over here we're gonna say console.log of result. Let's write that out correctly. Come on. Okay, so basically over here we have accessed we have basically invoked all the function calls over here, and by making use of the dot then method, we have pretty much console.log the correct result value. That is basically the sum is, the multiplied value is, the divided value is, and then the subtracted value is. Okay, so I think that's it. So let's just come and check out our console. Let's save the file. Yeah, so there you go. We are getting the sum is 30, the multiplied value is 200, so the divided value is 20 by 10, that is 2, and then the subtracted value is 10. Okay, so that's it about the basics. I mean, the way we actually call one promises after the other promises by making use of these functions. Okay, so if there are a number of tasks that we need to include it, so we can do this. Okay, after performing a kind of asynchronous operation, we can basically use the then method that is present, and we can access the result from that, and we can pretty much console.log the result, or we can perform any specific operation based on the result that is present. Okay, so I think that's it about the second part. So in the next part we'll be exploring about basically the promise combinators that are present. So promise combinators take a set of promises that is inside an array, and based on these promises it actually resolves or rejects, okay, based on the type of the promise combinator it is. So I think there are basically 4 kinds of promise combinators. So we'll be exploring about the promise combinators in the next session. Okay, so I think that's it about this video. Okay, so let's see you in the next video, and then thank you for watching.